I never planned to tell this story to the world, but sometimes the things we bury inside us, the things we try to swallow quietly, they begin to choke us from the inside. I'm a mother, and like every mother, I've learned to survive pain quietly, pretending it doesn't hurt as much as it does. But what happened last Christmas? What happened to me and my little girl? Changed something inside me forever. My daughter was born on Christmas Day. People always say, wow, that must be so magical. But they don't understand. They don't know what it's like when your family doesn't treat that day as special. When they treat your child as an inconvenience. When they treat you as if you're always asking for too much simply by existing. The truth is, every Christmas feels less like a holiday, and more like a reminder of all the ways my family has failed us. Last Christmas morning, my little girl woke me up at dawn, bouncing on the bed with excitement. She has the kind of innocence you want to protect with your whole life. Her hair was messy, her cheeks were flushed, and she kept saying, "Mommy, it's Christmas. And it's my birthday. I think this year is gonna be better." And those words, they stabbed my heart, because she shouldn't have to hope for better. She should already have better. But I didn't show any of that. I just forced a smile and told her to get ready. She wore a small red dress with tiny snowflakes on it. She spun around the room, practicing her little birthday twirl, and I stood there watching her, wondering how such a pure soul came from me, when all I grew up with was coldness, silence, and survival. In the kitchen, I finished frosting her cake. It wasn't perfect, but it was ours, and for me, ours is worth more than anything money can buy. I set the cake down gently, wishing I could protect her from everything the world was about to show her today. We reached my parents' house by noon. The door opened and the atmosphere was exactly the same as always, stiff, cold, pretending, judgmental. My father gave a shallow nod. My mother didn't even turn around fully. My grandparents didn't lower the TV volume. My cousins didn't pause their laughter or their screens. It was like walking into a place where love should exist. But my daughter stepped inside holding the little paper creation she made for my mother. She had glue glitter stars on it, carefully writing Merry Christmas in handwriting only a child can make beautiful. She walked over, gently tapped my mother's arm and held out the card, and like every year, my mother didn't look at her properly. She just said, "Put it on the table." No smile, no hug, no warmth. My daughter's smile flickered for a moment, just a moment, but I saw it. A part of her little heart dimmed, and I hated that I brought her here. I hated that she had to feel this. My father's first words to me were about the dessert he asked me to bring. Not hello. Not how are you. Not happy birthday to your daughter, just dessert. Every year, it's like they're determined to remind me I'm only valuable when I'm serving them. I placed a birthday cake in the kitchen, and he said, "Oh, that's fine. Someone else brought something better." He dismissed weeks of my daughter waiting excitedly. He dismissed hours I spent baking. He dismissed me. He dismissed her again. Time passed. The house filled with laughter, but never ours. My cousins loud and careless. My grandparents criticizing everything. My parents fussing over the Christmas meal like it was the only thing that mattered. People took pictures we were never included in. My daughter quietly sat near the tree, holding her hands together, waiting, hoping someone might remember. She didn't say a word, but the silence around her was louder than anything I had ever heard. Every now and then she looked at me, not complaining, not crying, just silently checking if I noticed her being ignored. I did, but I didn't know how to fix what wasn't mine to break. At one point she whispered, "Maybe they'll remember later." After dinner, I kissed her head because I didn't know what else to do. But then, something happened I will never forget. She walked up to my father, her grandfather, and gently tugged his sleeve. She said, barely above a whisper, "It's my birthday today." He didn't look up. He didn't smile. He didn't acknowledge her. He just said, "Sweetheart, today is Christmas. Celebrate your birthday another day." My cousin smirked. My grandmother said, "Kids need to stop needing so much attention." My grandfather mumbled, "Birthdays on Christmas are a problem for everyone, a problem, a burden, an inconvenience." They said that about my child. The child who deserves the entire world. And in that moment, something inside me shattered. It wasn't anger I could handle. It was grief. Grief of realizing that the love I kept trying to earn was never going to come. I stood up slowly, my hands shaking. I told my daughter to get her coat. She blinked up at me, confused but obedient. Everyone stared at me like I was ruining their holiday. My aunt muttered, "Don't do this, you're overreacting," my father said. "Dinner is almost ready," my mother said. "Stop being dramatic." My grandmother rolled her eyes. My grandfather scoffed. My cousins went silent, waiting for the drama. I looked at all of them and said with a calmness I didn't know I had, "We're leaving. And we're not coming back." My mother said, "This is family. You can't just walk out." I said, "Family isn't supposed to hurt you like this," my father said. You're teaching your daughter the wrong lesson, I answered. No. I'm teaching her the lesson you never taught me. That she deserves love. I picked up the untouched birthday cake. I held my daughter's hand. And we stepped out into the cold winter air. That cold felt warmer than their house. We drove home in silence. My daughter looked out the window, watching the snowfall. Then she whispered, "Are we in trouble?" I pulled over, turned to her, held her face gently in my hands and said, "No, baby. We're finally safe." When we got home, we lit her birthday candles. We sat on the floor with one strand of lights glowing. She smiled, not forced, not shy, but a real, bright smile. We sang softly, just the two of us. She blew out the candles and hugged me tightly. She said, "This is my favorite birthday ever." And I cried. I didn't let her see it. But I cried because after everything, she still found joy. Children are made of magic, the pure kind adults forget. Later that night, after I tucked her in, I sat alone on the couch with the soft Christmas lights flickering. And for the first time in years, I didn't feel guilty for choosing myself. I didn't feel guilty for walking away. Instead, I felt free, and terrified, and hopeful. All at once, I realized something that night. Something every mother eventually learns: you cannot force people to love your child. You cannot force them to respect you. You cannot force family to be family. But you can choose peace. You can choose to break the cycle. You can choose to protect your child from the hurt you once accepted as normal. Next Christmas might look different. It might be smaller. It might be quieter. But it will be ours. Filled with love. Filled with warmth. Filled with peace. My daughter will never again sit quietly, waiting for someone to remember her. She will never again feel invisible in a room full of people. She will never again wonder if she matters. Because she does. And I will make sure she knows it every single day. This is our story. A story of a mother and her child who finally walked away from the cold and stepped into the light they created for themselves. And if anyone asks me why I left, why I walked away from the people who raised me, why I chose a different path, I'll simply say, I did it for her. And I did it for me. Because we both deserve better.